Well,
Sorry.
no worries. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Improved Debates Impact. In this podcast, we talk about the world of debate education, not just teaching you how to become better at debating, but everything that goes around it. Because we firmly believe that behind every world champion is a team that made that world champion possible. And we're here to empower that team and not just the champion itself. And I'm speaking with one world champion builder, namely the executive director of the Slovak Debate Association, Ondrej Schutz. Welcome.
Thank you for having me today. If I may take the word from you now.
Yes, you can.
So we didn't produce exactly world champions yet in Slovakia, but we are trying and working hard on it. Today I will be talking about our alumni program and how to connect and frankly utilize your graduates and alumni of your debate programs. I will try to cover the reasoning for setting up alumni program, what kind of purposes you can fulfill by something like that to give your time to building it. Then I will be talking about ways how to ensure that you will catch as many people as possible and then utilize them. And at the end, I will talk about some consequences of alumni programs for your organization and debate community in your country. All of the information I will use are our experience. So I do think it's partly transmittable to other countries, but each country is different, and you will need to adjust everything I say to your specific circumstances and not just of your country, but also of your debate program. So, but bearing that in mind, I will start with the first part I promised you. So, what for? Why should you think about alumni program in your debate organization? I do believe you have a lot of work on your plate already with organizing tournaments, training of your national team, fundraising for your organization, media, marketing, etc. So a lot of stuff you need to cover when you are running the debate program at any level of school system. So why to focus some of your energy and your working hours to alumni program? Basically, I found 4 reasons for that, which you should think about, because not all reasons are relevant for all types of debate organizations. And we will cover that in a few seconds, which reasons are more suitable for what kind of organizations. But to start with, the most basic and simple one is you need volunteers. You need to have a base of people you can count on in future for training your debaters at schools, to support seminars or academies in parts of your country, to judge at tournaments, which is like one of the biggest problems, I guess, for most of the organizations, to find a big enough pool of people who are good judges for your programs. And then volunteers who will do the basic stuff of organizing or everything, because you don't have energy to do it all in your offices or at the executive level. So that's the first and most basic reason. I won't go further into that. Then there is finances. We do believe in SDA, in Slovak Debate Association, that alumni, that sounds horrible, but they are one of the best and most stable sources of financing and fundraising for your organization, if you can harvest it well. So that's the second one. Why is it so? debate is more than just some skill you are teaching your kids in the schools and in your debate clubs. It's if they stay in debating community for more than 1 year, most of the people who are in your programs will get into the community. They will find their friends, their spouses in the future. Probably they will live for at least few years surrounded by the debaters. And we believe that's a really specific gift we are giving our children, our debaters, which makes them not just love debating and love your organization as such, but also it gives them unique experience, which is not easily transplant. You can't transplant it easily to other people. They do understand what debating did to their brains, to their worldview, and that's why they can value your work more than any other people you can fundraise with. So that's why we do believe that alumni are the best people, or really important group of people you need to fundraise with. So that's the second reason for setting up an alumni program or strategy in your organization. The third one is networking. In most countries, I do believe it's the same as in Slovakia, debaters are getting to really interesting positions, be it in corporations, in economics. So they are setting up startups. They are getting to higher positions in big companies, etc. That's one area or dimension of it. Or in municipalities, in offices, public offices, into politics. That's the another area. Also, a lot of great lawyers, etc. So you've got a lot of people at really great positions of authority in your country, and you want to network with them. And you want to do that for two reasons. One is they can either give you great contacts for fundraising at in corporations, so they can contact you with bigger companies which can take over, not over, but they can support 1 or 2 years of your debate program or your league or some of the tournaments, etc. That's one dimension of it. Or they can, the networking is also important because you can create or you can your other volunteers, younger alumni, or even your debaters will be more attracted to the organization, which can provide them with new contacts. If somebody is studying at university and he is thinking about some kind of career in, for example, in consulting or auditing, if you can provide them with opportunities to meet people who are in BCG, who are in Deloitte, etc., that's something they will value. And they won't value it when they are 16, but when they are 20 or 22, that's something they could be interested in. So that's the fourth reason, to build a community of people who can support each other, or at least who can network and give opportunities to the younger generation of your alumni. So those four are, in really shortly, those four are reasons why to set up alumni network or alumni program in your debate organization. How you will set it up depends on the reason, or on the reason you will choose to be the main one for you. So if you, for example, are organizations such as Slovakia, or I do believe I judge it correctly that, for example, Lithuania has similar situation, that most of your alumni are going to study in United Kingdom or Netherlands, etc. You will probably focus more on fundraising part of the reasoning rather than on the networking part, because those people, or at least in our situation, not so often are coming back to the positions of power, etc. But yeah, that can be different for other countries. For example, I can imagine in Poland, where higher education is of much better quality. A lot of people are staying in the Polish universities, and then for them it makes sense to focus more on the reasons, on the networking reasons. So that's really just simply and shortly how you should think in the first stage about setting up the alumni network in your organization. And now, if we do believe we need alumni network and we know why we want to set it up, the sine qua non for doing so is to have a database. That's something most of the organizations do and have it already, but some of them are not thinking about it as of now. It helps for you to have like several or to have setting up the database of your alumni, of the graduates of your debate program and of the graduates of high schools as soon as possible, to have at least 5 to 10 years of such an information from your debate program. If you have the database, you can easily manage it also with the GDPR. That's not such a big problem. If you are asking your debaters and your clubs to sign some GDPR documents, that you can store the data for longer time than just time necessary to run the program for the debaters. So if you do have that, the most crucial moment for you to be successful in setting up the alumni program is the time when the debaters are leaving your program, because that's the critical point. Yeah, we have in Slovakia, for example, we do have about 800 debaters in one season, for example. Out of those, about and now the numbers are rough, really, but about 50 of them are graduating high school in that year. If you will, at that moment, lose track of them, it's really hard for you to reconnect with them later. So what we do, we are trying to forge a connection thread with them, even if they are not staying in the country, even if they are not staying active in the debating community. Because frankly, we all have experienced that some part of the graduates will stay in the debating community. They will be judges, they will be trainers in their clubs, respective clubs, but it's about 1/3, 1/4 of our graduates. In Slovakia, I'm not sure how what's the number for other organizations, but it's not 100% definitely. So what you need to do at that moment, you need to forge some kind of connection with them for future. So what we do first, that's one of our best practices, but definitely there will be other great ideas we have never utilized in Slovakia. So I will be glad if you will in comments give us some other hints on how to do that. But what we do is that we first ask all the debate clubs we do have registered for the names of debaters who will be graduating that year, or who are supposed to graduate that year. Frankly, they will graduate. Yeah, and then we are sending them email about how we would like to stay in contact with them. We would like to invite them for our seminars and trainings of trainers, trainings of judges, or even to stay in touch in future. And we ask them, for example, for their email to send them information about our organization. So that's something we really see as important part of it, that we need to establish some kind of contact for the future. Or if they are not active as judges or trainers, then we are trying to get at, and that sounds horrible, I guess, but yeah, we try to get their emails somehow. So that's the first of those threads we try to forge with them. The second way to do that is that we set up alumni group on Facebook. That's something which is really easy to do, and in time it became really successful. We are inviting all the graduates of that year, graduates of high school of that year, into the group every year. Most of them will accept the invitation, some of them won't, but yeah, always you have some, you won't cover 100% never, but yeah, most of them will accept the invitation, and then we have a direct channel to approach those people in future. And the third thing we are doing, besides getting their contact information, we are trying to get to find out where are they going. So some of them are staying in a country, those stay mostly in big cities because there are better universities and they are studying there. So those we try to approach as soon as possible to get them to support our organization as volunteers. That's one way to do that, or that's one group of alumni. The others are going to United Kingdom, United States, etc., Czech Republic in our case mostly, and we are trying to. We just know that they are there. Sometimes we are trying to connect them with other people in those cities from our graduates. So they form groups of friends who are graduates of our program in London or in basically London, Prague, and Brno in our case. So that's how you are forging the thread with the alumni. You need that because it's really hard to do that after a few years of gap in communication with them. So I will just sum it up. Or the first part of it, you need to have a database of your graduates, and when when they are graduating high school, you need somehow to catch them, to make a thread with them for future communication. Yeah. So that's basically how you are making base for what we call our alumni program. That's what you need to start it at least.
Can I ask a question briefly?
Yeah.
Are there, in those 4 years of time when they're still at university, some of them might still be debating also at university. Are there ways in which you can connect them most easily whilst you're doing that? Like, are you advising them, for instance, oh, you're going to this university, we know someone who studied there, who went to the debate club, or when you're back home for the summer, can you maybe like share your knowledge with some of the crowds from the high school club you went to?
Yeah, the latter is more close to what we do. So yeah, for example, so we have a lot of events during the year. Most of those are tournaments. We, from our experience, know that there are tournaments which are bigger and there are tournaments which are smaller. We, for example, plan tournaments which are bigger into the time slots when big UK universities have their holidays or so they are not in session. And yeah, that's something what we do. Also, it's similar with our seminars for trainers and judges. Yeah, we try to utilize people who want to participate but are not able because they are studying abroad. We want to. We are planning some of our activities in the time they probably will be back in Slovakia for a few weeks or months. That's what we do. The former of what you said, so some kind of Tinder for debaters at universities, that's not what we thought of as of now, but that's an interesting idea. Definitely, we will think about it. It's also true that a lot of Slovak debaters are not debating at universities abroad. It's getting better, but it wasn't a common occurrence in the past. So that's probably one of the reasons we didn't think about it. Yeah. But thank you for the question. That's something what we the later part is something what we do. Also, what we are persistently doing is that we are sending them newsletters for members of Debate Association about what's happening in SDA. So we have two kinds of newsletters. One is for the members or people connected, insiders, and one is for the supporters and donors and public. Yeah, and we are trying to send alumni as much information about what is happening inside the organization as possible. So we are including them into the newsletter if they are not opting out. Yeah. So that's something what we do. Then they have information not about what kind of tournaments we are doing, but also if we need more judges, which debate clubs are performing better, which are worse, or who needs help with supporting. And also we are they do have information about if their debate clubs is winning or not, and that's something what drives them a little bit. Yeah, that's something they have inside them from their debating time. So they want to see if their high school is doing better than their biggest rival from their time. Yeah, that's something which we are trying to harvest, that competitiveness of debaters. So yeah, newsletters also are really important in keeping those people who are not able to participate directly in SDA, to keep them in the loop, and to keep their identity still forged. We are debaters. I know what's happening there. I know the organization I left a few years ago. It's not completely new and different organization for me. So that's important for us to still be able to ask them for other stuff later. So, and now to the other stuff which we are asking for later. So what we do then is that we are organizing events for alumni. Because yeah, they are studying abroad. Some of them are already in Slovakia and they have their careers going on, or they are starting their jobs. And we are trying every year to organize 3 or 4 alumni gatherings, mainly in big cities in Slovakia. So Bratislava mainly, and then Košice. What's that for? Is that we have a really great community around people who are active in organization, volunteers, judges, trainers, and we want people who are not able to do so to come to see that also. Why so? First of all, some graduates of universities will come back, and probably perhaps we can persuade them to take active part in SDA, and more importantly, we are teaching them that you can be active or you can support SDA even after you left it. And that's the learning moment is there on the events, when they are seeing not just people who are training actively, but also older graduates or the alumni who are supporting SDA financially. So I don't want to say that we are advertising it, but yeah, at the beginning of those alumni events, we always have a short speech about how SDA is doing at that moment of time, and how they can support it. And one of the ways to do that is to set up donation and regular donation for SDA. So we are not asking them for donation on the spot, that give us 50 euros on 100 euros. We are setting up regular payments, monthly payments of 5 euros, of 10 euros, which they can afford already because they graduated LSE, they graduated Oxford or whatever, and they have good jobs. So then, and they can't train because yeah, they do have jobs, so they can support us in other way. So that's how we are trying to not just have alumni as our volunteers, but also to give them opportunity to take part in our work by other means. And when I say other means, I mean by money. Yeah. So, and what's the result? We do that for 5 to 6 years now, or we are trying to build it from 5 to 6 years now. And we have about 90% of our individual donors are our alumni, about 90 people, 94. It depends every year, and I yeah. It depends on the year, and if I count also people who are not alumni but friends of debating, but the donations yearly are about 14,000 euros we get from our alumni, which is really I do feel it's one of the better sums among NGOs in Slovakia. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it
yeah,
sounds like you can pay essentially an extra staff member to do extra work for you, for instance. That's really well
yeah,
done.
I guess not in Netherlands, but yes, in Slovakia you can afford 3/4 of an employee. Yeah, just covered by those donations. So yeah, it's not small part of our budget. It's not substantial, but we are aiming to make it even higher in next few years. Yeah, that's basically the part we are doing now, and now we are trying to even further the program to make it more professional for the alumni by creating alumni donors club in SDA as part of the SDA as the structure of the. So we have a lot of debating clubs, etc., and one of those will be alumni donors club, and we want, or we are thinking about it. It's not like tomorrow we will set it up, but one of the main goals is to make it exclusive to donate to SDA. To be alumni and to be a supporter of SDA will be something exclusive. We definitely, and one of the things we are thinking about is to make some events which are privately or exclusively for the members of the donors club. We are thinking about three kinds of events or three kinds of benefits for them. One is to give them some kind of say in the organization. So that's not something which is already decided upon, but to have some say on during General Assembly or support role at meetings of executive board or something like that. Definitely to be informed about everything which is happening in SDA. That's one of the perks of being part of Alumni Donors Club. The second one could be to have closed events just for those members. For example, we have a lot of members who are doing interesting stuff, but it's not something you want to publicize a lot. For example, we have people who worked on political campaigns or in the government, and that's something we can imagine could be interesting for our alumni to hear about it, hear about what are the processes in the campaigns, etc. And that's something we are trying now to do, to have those events where our alumni will share their experiences, funny stories with politicians, etc., from the campaigns, just with those selected people. That's something we do believe our alumni will pay more for. And the next thing we are thinking about is to set up networking events. So we do have, as I mentioned, and most of the debating organizations do have people who are already successful in their fields, lawyers, entrepreneurs, politicians, public officials, etc. And then we have a lot of alumni who are younger, who are just graduating. And we want to set up a platform for them to meet people who are already successful, to give them connections, network, new contacts to make them successful too. And that's something we do believe that young graduates will be willing to be part of, and consequently to support SDA. Not just financially, which is all like main goal, but also to be part of that community. And if you are part of that community, to give €5 a month or €10 in month is not a lot for you if you are a graduate of law from, I don't know, Exeter. Yeah. So
yeah, that does sound wonderful indeed. Because like I myself have gone to a quite a well-established high school in the Netherlands, which organizes these type of events as well. 10 years after the fact that you graduated, you get a reunion, and to an extent, the debate community feels like even if you aren't from such a high school, you've got the opportunity to mingle with lots of people and get a similar type of vibe in there. And I now that I have myself, I graduated 10 years ago this year, and I now see a lot of my fellow high school mates who are studying in Oxford doing a PhD. One of them is working at one of the best established law firms in the Netherlands. And I mean, I see them on LinkedIn, and sure, they share something interesting, but I would love to know what it is that they're actually doing and get a chance to speak to them. So this sounds like a wonderful event.
Yeah, well, I hope so. As I already mentioned, it's not ready yet, so we had just one pilot of it. It worked well, but yeah, a lot of stuff needs to be decided upon, etc. But the idea is, as you mentioned, yeah, and your experience gives me a little bit of hope that it will work. That the carrot is there for them. Yeah.
Now just the stick.
Sorry.
Now just the stick.
Yeah. Stick is our feedbacks after debates, so that's over for them already. Yeah. The last thing I want to mention is something we tried last year. Mainly, a lot of organizations already have experience with it. It's merchandise. As I mentioned, we do try to keep in touch at least somehow with our alumni, graduates of high schools, and if that is successful, those people do feel belonging to debating community. To be a debater in Slovakia means something for a lot of us who went through the debating program, and again, for those people to have some like hoodie or T-shirt with debating quotes or whatever visuals is something they will gladly pay for. I can say that I bought all of the possible merchandise of SDA even before I was in my executive director's position. So yeah, that's something. If we do have jobs, we do gladly spend money on. I will try to share with you what we produced last year as our merchandise.
Yeah, please do. And I imagine this will also be shippable abroad for all of your international alumni.
Yeah. We were shipping it. There was a lot of problems with it. We weren't so good as UPC, but yeah, we tried to do so.
Yeah, and I think this is also a very worthwhile exercise to know for everyone when you're setting these things up. So when you're buying things from your local YouTuber or organization, very often there's a poor intern at the back who is doing lots of the shipping.
Right now I can't share it because I'm on my phone, but I will send it to Dan, and he probably
so you'll be able to find the link after the show. You will get you the link to all the merchandise, and I'm really looking forward. I saw the merchandise that you sold towards the high schoolers a couple of years ago, and if inland shipping was available back then, I might have bought one myself. That's very wonderful news. I have a couple of questions maybe to round it all off. So I think the first one is that you point out at the beginning. This is one of those things where many people who work in a day-to-day organization say this will be a good thing to do, but it isn't like something that has the immediate urgency. So maybe it would help them if you could tell me like how much time investment did it take for you to set this up?
Okay, that's yeah, that's a little bit difficult to answer because of two reasons, I guess. First is that every step is different, so like it takes a different amount of time to set it up. So, for example, you need to have somebody dedicated to getting data about debaters. Yeah, I do believe it's important, not just because of alumni program, but all of the other stuff you are doing. So for example, you need a lot of judges, you want to know how they are performing, how the debaters performing over the years, if they are getting better, or which debate clubs, which trainers, which pedagogical methods are getting better results. So that's why we are collecting data about debaters. And if you are doing already so, to collect data about who is going to which kind of universities, or to which universities and which fields of study, that's something which is not taking a lot of time if you are already collecting data. But if you are not, then yeah, you need to spend, now I'm really just guessing, I guess about at the end of the year or of the season, I would say about 10 hours at all. It's not a lot of time. Yeah. But then if you are organizing events and trying to get into contact with them, that's much more time consuming. So for example, we do produce our newsletters monthly, and those, or we are trying most of the time, and that's a lot of work. So I would say we have one person in our office who spends about 20 hours a month with all of the marketing. So half of it will be our newsletters, yeah, for example, which is not small amount. But those newsletters are more professional than you need, in my opinion. Or if you want to have newsletters just for people who are insiders, who just want to know how many tournaments occurred, etc., it could be much less. Yeah, you don't need professional graphics and everything. Yeah, you definitely to learn to work with MailChimp or other similar mailing manager, but that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, that does sound much more encouraging than I thought it might, because as you're pointing out earlier, for SDA, you're getting a money that's roughly equivalent to a 75% staff member, but you're spending maybe 10% of a staff member on actually getting that work done. And lots of the things that you point out are things that you'd already be doing for different purposes, and the alumni are cashed in. So that actually sounds very, very encouraging. I had one more question.
Yeah,
sorry, you wanted to say something?
Sorry, if I may just jump in. And if you already have the established system or program, it gets easier and easier for you because of the learning moment I already mentioned. Our new alumni know about that. Graduates of high school know that we have that a lot of graduates are supporting SDA. We are announcing that we do communicate our thanks and that we are grateful to them, and they do learn from that. So they are expecting themselves to be once supporters of SDA.
Fantastic. I have one more question, and that is, amongst all the various events that you were talking about, none of them were debating per se. Are alumni sick and tired of debate, or do you think that there might be interest in an alumni debate round or competition at one of these events?
Yeah, so we tried to ask them about that, and we do have mixed messaging from them. So there are people mainly around there, mainly graduates of universities and few years after that, so below 30s or around 30s, who would like to debate again. Not regularly, but to have, we call those dino tournaments, yeah, for dinosaurs, or dino tournaments, or you can call it alumni tournaments. But those will attract about 20 alumni, or if you are really good and you set up your date very well, then 25, 30 alumni, which is not a lot, or in those numbers, it's not a lot. And what's their purpose? Yeah, because you need to ask yourself, what's the purpose of organizing it? If it's about making happy about 20 your alumni who are already supporting you or who didn't support you before, yeah, I'm not sure if it's worth the time. Sometimes we are doing that, or last year we did something like that, or in the model of not Dino tournament, but rather Pro-Am tournament, where pros or professionals were alumni already, not debaters for second or third year. And that went very well because they become part of the community with new kids, new debaters. They got know them, and also they just felt again the atmosphere, the love for debate community as it was once. So that one was a really success. Typical Dino tournaments, I'm not really sure about their effect.
Okay, so it's like a small effect and maybe more interesting for the alumni itself than for the true organization. It reminds me of a bit of a similar project. What we've seen in university debating in the Netherlands is the rise of the parent-child tournament. So active debaters bringing their parent or sometimes their sibling to a debate competition to show around, which actually can be sometimes quite interesting because some debaters have quite interesting parents involved as well. For instance, the keynote speaker at the World Championships was a Supreme Court justice from the Netherlands. And he was there, well, in large part because his son was part of the organization of the competition itself. So that might also be potentially an extra interesting element to get some more people who might be good friends of debate to get in.
So parents were not debaters themselves before.
Well, they were debating together with their kids, or like siblings were debating together with their kids. So it was like one debater and one non-debater debating together.
So kids were not debaters before.
So it was like basically I would show up together with my father or my mother, and we would be debating together as a team.
Okay. Yeah. Now I get it.
Mm-hmm. So if someone is listening in and thinking, hey, I used to debate in Slovakia and this sounds really great. Sign me up for these drinks, sign me up for this newsletter. I want to know whether my high school is ranked top high school in Slovakia right now. Where should they go?
That's the question I didn't expect. We do have alumni at SDA email. They can definitely contact us on our webpage. We don't have anything more targeted for them, or they can ask to join or to be recipients of our newsletter, which is really easily done on our website. Yeah, you can just click on the I want to receive newsletter button, and that's where they will get all the information, which probably is good to mention that's to have a button not just for newsletter but also for donation is really good tool for all the NGOs, not just debating NGOs, to have on their website. Yeah, that's something which is so basic that I didn't even think about it to mention it, but yeah.
That's very important. So we'll share the link as well in the notes below. So you go to sda.sk. Also, if you are, of course, listening and interested in setting up your own alumni program, because it is, I think, a really well-designed website that definitely shows the value of engaging your audience. Thank you very much, Ondrej. By ending the show, is there anything else that you'd like to share from the organization or something that I forgot to ask?
I didn't think about anything else, but yeah, if any of our debating organizations friends will have questions, you can anytime either contact us or Dan, who will pass the message. I'm sure. I really hope that more of debating organizations will utilize your alumni, because that's our advantage at the market of NGOs. That we do have strong community and strong feeling about that debating does great things.
That is a fantastic final pitch, Ondrej. Thank you very much. And indeed, if you have any questions, please send them to podcast@idebate.nl. That is podcast@idebate.nl. Also, if you want to be featured on this show, or you have new ideas, things you say, I want to learn about this. How can I make the world champions in my organization actually become world champions? That's it for now. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ondrej, and speak to you soon.